Hello viewers and welcome to it. This is Focus 54, your weekly guide to real African news. Now my name is Kurtley Gwindi, taking all things to do with cancer in this particular episode, which remains a significant global health challenge with millions of lives lost annually in a groundbreaking initiative. Zimbabwe's Harare Institute of Public Health has partnered with the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa to develop innovative cancer treatments. We are now joined today by Professor Simon Mukwembi, the chairperson of the Harare Institute of Public Health and the chairperson for mathematics at Witwatersrand. And obviously, we are also accompanied in this conversation by Dr. Amos Marume, who is the principal here at the HIPH, which is the Harare Institute of Public Health, and to discuss once again the discovery and the relevance of the discussion to the Public Health Symposium to be held on the 17th to the 19th of October. We are very much excited to be carrying the conversation forward with these two health personnel once again, and we will be having that further in the second segment, so do stay tuned. As we go further, we will dive into the discussion deeper, obviously, in the second segment, but let's take a look rather at the stories that have been making headlines across Africa. Now we kickstart with Botswana, where the Africa Tourism Leadership Forum opens, and African leaders were challenged to leverage opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade in fostering intra-African travel. This was the rallying call at the official opening of the 7th Africa Tourism Leadership Forum. We shift our attention to the DRC, where an attempted prison break has left over 120 people dead, and reports say heavy gunfire was heard early Monday morning as inmates tried to escape after a fire had broken out in the administration building and the infirmary. Now, in a testament posted on X this Tuesday, the DRC Interior Minister Shaba Luko said 24 people died as a result of gunfire, while other 59 people were injured. Meanwhile, Minister Luko confirmed that normalcy has been reset at the facility, with security service meetings underway to investigate the incident. Now, we take a look at Angola once again, where the country has ramped up oil production after quitting OPEC and improved its foreign revenue gains through oil, and has also spurred growth in through the country once again. Now that's a look at some of the headlines that have been making Africa. Let's shift our attention to the second segment when we are talking all things cancer. Please do stay tuned. Hello viewers and welcome back to the second segment here on Focus 54, and this is your real source for African news, and we are taking the conversation forward. Today in this particular episode, I am joined by Professor Simon Mukwembi, who's the chairperson of the Harare Institute of Public Health here in Harare, Zimbabwe, as well as the chairperson for mathematics at the University of Witwatersrand. I'm also joined by Dr. Amos Marume, who's the principal here at the Harare Institute of Public Health. Now, gentlemen, thank you so much for staying with us here on Focus 54.
Oh, thank you very much, and thanks for affording us this opportunity. I really am excited to share more with the
Definitely,
nation
and we will be sharing more. Dr. Marume, how are you feeling about this significant stride?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. You know, as scientists, we are also glad and very excited when sharing, developments from our space.
Perhaps I'll start with you, Dr. Marume. How have you seen these new treatments address the unique challenges of the cancer pandemic in the African context?
Yeah, maybe just to give a little bit more background, cancer is a serious problem, and it's growing amongst other non-communicable diseases. So it's also a significant problem in Zimbabwe, particularly as a result of some cancers being associated also with HIV and other immune depressing condition. So at the moment, the treatment options that are there, well, some are effective, but you would find out that a lot do have quite a lot of side effects, which makes it difficult even for healthcare consumers suffering from cancers. So there is quite a need for more effective and also more safer options.
This partnership, speaking highly to the innovation that's already taking place here within Zimbabwe, within the Zimbabwean context, but at the very same time, we want to pay attention to everything that is happening also across the region and even in South Africa, with the University of the Witwatersrand. How best have you created a synergy as well as a relationship between innovation across the region?
Let me probably start by mentioning the history of our partnerships. I'm here today in my capacity as the chairperson of the HIPH Council. And I'm glad to share with you that today we will be sending off our graduating students from HIPH,
Oh, that's
who
brilliant.
are now going to participate very actively, lead within the continent, lead within the country, providing, the much needed human capacity in healthcare. I'm also the head of school of the School of Mathematics at the University of Witwatersrand.
Mm.
Well, a long time ago, sometime starting from 2012, we started research, and this research was mainly focused on getting solutions to the healthy problems that we have, to the drug, efficacies, all the side effects that Doc spoke about. So we developed a group of researchers, a group of scientists in the region who came to the party to do the research. First, we have colleagues from Harare Institute of Public Health, Dr. Marume, Dr. Mtingwende involved. Then we have myself, of course, at the University of Witwatersrand. And again, at the University of Witwatersrand, we have quite a number of colleagues spanning all disciplines required in drug design. Being worried about that, these are problems that were not solved overnight. We actually sat down, continued to sit down, decide on how to do it. We used artificial intelligence, we used machine learning, and we used mathematical formulas. All that put together gave us this technology that I would prefer calling the Rutawa technology. You know, whenever you have Rutawa, you go out to the river and you put it down, you wait for all the fish to get in.
Oh, yes.
Basically, we will be using that to identify, compounds that work for the diseases of our target.
Oh, yes.
I'm pleased to say that partnership has actually resulted in us getting compounds that cure Alzheimer's diseases, compounds that cure cancer, compounds that kill pain, compounds that, in the life that we live, there are some instances whereby usually men have problems, have difficulties in the bed. Musana unenge worwadza. We also have compounds that address that situation. And we continue to work. We have compounds that treat COVID. So all I can say is, these partnerships are so important. And they are actually in Zimbabwe, they are actually in South Africa, and that should actually help to change the pharmaceutical landscape, of Zimbabwe. Of course, I'm born in Zimbabwe, and I'm a bit, not to say that I'm a bit biased, but I also worry about the attainment of Vision 2030. We want to be able to use this, to achieve Vision 2030, to help the government achieve. We are the people, we are fully behind to make sure that we attain all that.
And we move along. Perhaps on to you, Dr. Marume, who can perhaps share with us what these new treatments address with regards to the space as well as envisionment of the impact of the cancer mortality rates globally, and particularly within the African landscape, which are the low resource settings.
Okay. So thank you very much for that question. The impact goes further than just managing healthcare patients or consumers. Cancer management, it's a significant market, not just in Africa, but world over. Like I said earlier, the current treatment options are not the ideal. So there is that need for much better options for patients. So we are looking at helping the region if these molecules, maybe let me also highlight this fact that at the stage where we are in this research, we have identified molecules that treat cancer. Particularly, we have used cell lines for melanoma, which is a form of skin cancer. So we are going to be working in many other cancerous forms. What we have done is, in the laboratory, we have confirmed activity, and we have inferred on the safety profile. What's left now, which we are appealing to everyone who has an interest in seeing, cancer solutions.
Oh yes.
Is funding for clinical trials, because we really want to take these molecules to the healthcare consumer as early as is possible.
And how best? What's the process, or how have you channeled that particular discovery and innovation to then become probably regulated by the necessary boards, as well as brought to the consumer, like you've said?
Okay. So the mathematical modeling and the AI that was talked about helped us screen quite a lot of molecules that can manage cancer, and we come up with very good molecules. Then we took those molecules to the laboratory to confirm efficacy and also to make inferences on safety in human use, as well as how the medicines would perform inside the human body.
Oh yeah.
So that background science is very important to take to the regulator. In our cases, Zimbabwe becomes Medicines Control Authority of Zimbabwe.
All right, thank you very much for that contribution. And that particular question brings a close to our second segment. Please hold still, don't go anywhere. We are going to be still carrying the conversation forward with Dr. Marume and Professor Mukwembi. This is Focus 54. Welcome back, viewers. This is the third and final segment of Focus 54. We are speaking all things to do with cancer and the research around it. Innovation happening right here in Zimbabwe, across the landscape of Africa. Professor Mukwembi and Dr. Marume, thank you so much for staying with us. And of course, we're talking all things to do with a groundbreaking energy, as well as a space and spectrum that probably is bringing a lot of debate, discourse, as well as discussions. Gentlemen, perhaps I can start with you, Professor. And moving along with perhaps you, Professor Mukwembi, perhaps elaborate a little bit further on the innovative cancer treatments that are being developed through this partnership.
Oh, thank you very much. This partnership could not be avoided. Well, as I've mentioned, we have a lot of expertise in our partnership. Let me start by saying the drug discovery process is very difficult initially on identifying the compounds that work. This is where mathematicians in the partnership come in. using the Rutawa that we developed, we managed to identify the compounds. Then from there, in that partnership, we've got colleagues who are experts in the laboratory. I've mentioned Dr. Eloise van der Merwe. I've mentioned Prof. Said. They are experts when it comes to laboratory science. So they basically take the compounds identified by Rutawa, compounds discovered by Rutawa. It might be for COVID, it might be for cancer, or it might be for pain and so on. Then they take those compounds into the laboratory to test and to check if the compounds work. I'm pleased to say they checked for COVID, they checked for Alzheimer's disease, and they checked for melanoma skin cancer. And the answer is yes, they do work. And we actually do have the data. You know, it's only that I cannot share with you right now, but we actually have the data that confirm that the compounds do work. Further on, we have Dr. Marume here, we have Dr. Mtingwende. When it comes in that partnership, when it comes to checking that these compounds do work in humans, we actually rely on them in that partnership. So end-to-end drug discovery requires a very big team, a fully qualified team, which we have. And there you can see that we also have Zimbabweans championing this work. Thank you.
End to end, of course, we are speaking end to end, but within the prospects of coming to that, perhaps on to you, Dr. Marume. Doctor, perhaps there has been a lot of criticism, there has been debates, discussions, as well as people who are breaking dimensions with regards to these innovations. What's your take and comment on some of the articles and publishings that have been put out with regards to the work you're doing?
Well, so what this innovation does, it just cuts the time to screen the molecules that is required. It also helps in giving us the key primary information that is required to run a proper clinical trial. So what it significantly do is probably reduce the normal drug discovery process from about 15 years to about 2 or 1 year, depending on the nature of the disease that we are talking about. So what's important also to highlight is people are welcome to criticize. We are scientists, we have been publishing. Myself, I have been in academia since 2004, so I have been publishing throughout. I understand the peer review process. Sometimes you receive fair criticism, sometimes you receive unfair criticism, but always welcome. But what I would suggest is it's also wise if you are criticizing, especially for the science that is aimed at alleviating a significant problem. Cancer is a significant problem, for instance. So we want to address it, we want solutions. What you should then do is probably bring evidence to the contrary. Or at least bring your profile, which qualifies you to give an intelligent criticism, because we feel the whole team is qualified and well equipped, and we also do have the laboratory, like what the professor is saying, which are well equipped to demonstrate efficacy, to demonstrate safety. So I would suggest, if you have any other contrary view, to be taken serious, bring the evidence, bring everything. Then the other thing that I would recommend for critics and skeptics, people who are skeptical, is probably to say, bring in the money, prove us wrong. Because what we want is the money for the clinical trials to prove that this works in people. So bring the money and prove us wrong, and then it will be done. Do you see what I am saying? Not just to then look at what Africans are doing and saying maybe they should first ask for permission from somewhere to do research in cancer or Alzheimer's.
Now, Doc, obviously the president has spoken loudly and clearly. We have seen it as espoused by some of our local press that, there is an issue to do with the media speaking proudly to do with innovations and things happening in the African context as opposed to actually shunning them or shutting them down or frowning upon them. What's your take on this with regards to this current ongoing project?
So thank you for that question. Yeah, the media do have a lot of power when it comes to creating opinions and encouraging the public. So for African media, it's important to learn from what the president has said and also from what some of the international media does. For example, I will give you an example. I would say I have seen that the amount of failures in terms of rockets with the Elon Musk's innovations, the failures are more than the success stories. But you always find the media from America saying at least the rocket went fail. They are speaking from a positive point, which we encourage in line with what the president is saying, to say the media should use that power to encourage innovation rather than frowning, rather than generating, where you belittle African innovations.
Dr. Marume, any partnerships that you have seen to be fruitful, specifically to do with the context of our Zimbabwean government? Is there any work? Should be there any work, or has there been any work?
The science we are using is already proven. Artificial intelligence is already there. Machine learning is already there. Mathematical modeling has been with us since mathematicians were there. So there is nothing new on that aspect. What is new here is how we have combined those various
Different aspects, yeah,
to be working in drug discovery. So we would really want to know which area are you questioning. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Then as to regards to support, as an institution, we have received tremendous support from our government. Of course, support will be still needed in terms of more resources, especially when it comes to this research work that we want to end up with, medicines saving lives in the space of cancer in particular. So more support is required, but we have received significant support from government and other stakeholders, as well as our own local tertiary institution. Whether the support is in
Has the support been enough?
we would need more, particularly as we are hoping to take this thing to the clinical trial stage. So we definitely would need more support, and we are hopeful soon we will get that support that we need.
Okay. And Professor, as we wind up this conversation, how do these innovations align with the global health priorities at the moment and initiatives aimed at reducing the cancer burden, looking at the wider spectrum?
One thing that I'm very happy with is the fact that our cancer compound is selective. It targets only the cancer cells and it kills them. However, it does not harm the normal cells, which is a distinctive feature between our discovery and what we have had. So, and also talking about the shortness of time now spent on discovering and developing a drug that our technology has brought in, I see that first the medication will become available to the globe, to Zimbabwe, to Africa, the global south, as cheaply as possible, and of course with less side effects. So we are envisaging a healthy community, a healthy society as a result of those drugs. Now, as to when it comes to Zimbabwe specifically, it will change, it will disrupt the pharmaceutical landscape. We are going to become an engine, being supported through these discoveries. We will be able to create employment. We will be able to generate income, we will be able to maintain a healthy population, meaning to say they will work because they are healthy, which is a very good thing. We will be able to even cut down on importation, on the importation bill of having to import some of these medicines, because they will be homemade, and the exports as well. So these are some of the things that I would need to highlight, and of course we will be able to help achieve Vision 2030. Yeah.
And of course, achieving an upper middle income economy by 2030. We do know you're taking serious strides with regards to that. Today, we are speaking of the graduation of specific, talented as well as innovative individuals who are coming from the Harare Institute of Public Health, going further. And we also do know that the 17th to the 19th of October is the day of this symposium that you will be holding. Once again, a discussion platform for everything to do with public health. How best have you also managed to integrate some of these new innovations as well as discoveries within the spectrum of this day building up?
Okay. Thank you for that question. With regards to the public health symposium, again, it's an innovation championed by HIPH, which is aimed at bringing various stakeholders, and demystifying the whole concept of public health, such that anyone can contribute to that. Because we believe there is no socio-economic development unless health is assured for all. That's when you begin to talk of. So we want our public health systems to be strengthened as a country, as a region, for us to develop and maybe become, as you have said, upper middle income economy by 2030. So that platform will bring, some of the presentation will be around AI in public health, AI in pharmaceutical care, and this presentation and more data. Actually, we would invite some of the skeptics and those critics to come.
So it's an opportunity for knowledge sharing.
They should come and see what we present, because we're going to present there again these innovations amongst others.
No, quite rightly so, and kudos to you, gentlemen, as we continue. Professor and Doctor, it's such a pleasure to be having you here on Focus 54.
Thank you.
And most definitely, viewers, you have heard it here first. This is here within the Zimbabwean landscape, where Harare's Institute of Public Health has taken on innovation and growth, everything to do with a groundbreaking celebration, rather, of groundbreaking innovations here on ZBC, where we bring you Focus 54. And yes, if you are going to be looking into some of these things, please do make sure that even this public health symposium, you should be a part of it and attend it, and also give your viewpoint with regards to what Professor Mukwembi and Dr. Marume have joined me here speaking about. And for now, we'll close off this episode for this week. This is Focus 54, your real source of African news. My name is Kurtley Gwendi. Until next time, it's a pleasant viewing, and God bless Africa.